All right, welcome back to day 2 of chapter 1. We're going to finish chapter 1 of today. Don't forget that your chapter 1 vocab is due tomorrow. And if you're feeling extra ambitious, you could work on page 63. That's problems 53 to 89, every other odd. And again, you should not need a calculator. So go ahead and take about 5 or 10 minutes and do all these problems on this page, 1 through 8. Go ahead and hit pause. I'm going to start going through the answers in 1 second. All right, number 1. 4 squared means 4 times 4. That's 16. In number 2, 5 minus 16, absolute value, is the absolute value of negative 11. Therefore, the answer is positive 11 because absolute value is a measure of distance. So it keeps everything positive. In number 3, the negative is out front. So you've got 3 2's, which is 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8, with 1 negative out front, giving you negative 8. And in the last one, 3 minus 7 is negative 4. The absolute value of negative 4 is positive 4. Next, we're going to write this in mathematical terms. Product means to multiply. So the product of 8 and 6 would just be 8 times 6. It doesn't ask you to solve it. You could put 48, but since it's asking you for the expression, you can stop right there. The next one is the difference of 10y and 4. Difference means subtract. So you would just put 10y minus 4. Simplifying each fraction, 16 divided by 2 is 8. And 8 over 56, 1 over 7. You're going to reduce the 8 out of each of those. All right, let's get started. In the order of operations, if you remember PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, you're going to do powers first, and then exponents, and then multiplication and division, and those kind of link together from left to right, and then addition and subtraction, again linked together from left to right. So we're going to use order of operations and try to simplify these two problems. Go ahead and try letter A. Hit pause. In letter A, the power here, it would be one of the first things to do. 4 squared is 16, and that negative's out front. So we can rewrite all of the problem. Next, we're going to do multiplication and division from left to right. So 24 divided by 3 is 8. So now we have negative 16 plus 8 times 2. And then multiplication comes before addition. So 8 times 2 is 16. I'll come over here. So negative 16 plus positive 16 is 0. Go ahead and try letter B. Hit pause. Again, the first step in here is the parentheses. Since we have a parentheses inside a parentheses, we're going to simplify that first. So 3 squared is 9. So now in our parentheses, we have 25 minus 9 with a 4 multiplied out front. 25 minus 9 is 16. When you multiply 4 by 16, you get 64. All right, we're now going to look at expressions. So we have letters in here. Go ahead and try letter A. Hit pause. We're going to be plugging 7 in here. So 21 minus 7 plus 2 times 5. Order of operations says multiplication comes first. So 21 minus 7 plus 10. And then you're going to do from left to right addition and subtraction. 21 minus 7 is 14. And 14 plus 10 is 24. Go ahead and try B. Hit pause. First, you do the parentheses. So we're going to put our 24 in. 30 minus 24 is 6. And then you do exponents. 5 squared is 25. 25 times 6 is 150. Go ahead and try A. Hit pause. First step is your exponent here. So we have negative 22 minus 4. So that whole entire numerator is negative 26. Now we're going to simplify the denominator. So we have 2. Negative 26 over 2 is negative 13. Try letter B. Hit pause. In B, the absolute value serves as a parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we have an exponent. So 10 minus 25, absolute value, is the absolute value of negative 15. So we really have positive 15 divided by 5, which is 3. And the last one, letter C on this page. Go ahead and hit pause. The square root also serves as a parentheses. So the square root underneath it is 50 minus 1. So it's really the square root of 49. And the square root of 49 is 7. So 3 times 7 is 21. And you could put the positive or the negative since it wasn't specified out here. We can assume it's positive. Either one is fine. In the future, we're going to have to test and see if our answers work and eliminate some answers. All right, properties of addition and multiplication. We've got something called the commutative property. I like to think of a commuter train. If you commute to work, let's say you work in Traverse City. You would drive from here to Traverse City, and then you would drive from Traverse City home. So 2 plus 7 is the same exact thing as 7 plus 2. You could have commutative of addition or commutative of multiplication. Of addition. So multiplication would be 3 times 9 is 9 plus 3. Same exact thing with letters. There's another important property which is called associative. And you're definitely going to want to get these properties down. When you associate, you group things in parentheses. So if we grouped the 6 plus 8 together in the beginning, that's the same exact thing as picking up the parentheses and moving them and grouping the 8 plus 2 in the back. So this is associative of addition. And this is associative of multiplication. Same exact thing with the letters. A times B times C is the same thing as A times B and then C, or A times B plus C grouped together. So, since it's easiest to group together different things, we should group these two things together first. 15 1/3 plus 1 2/3 is 17. 15 plus 1 is 16, and the fractions make another 1. Then if you do 17 plus 4, you'll get the answer as 21. Okay, I should have had you pause and do that. So go ahead and do 1B. Hit pause. And this one, these two should group together, giving you 500. And these two should group together, giving you 60. So we get our 560. And in the last one, go ahead and hit pause. 8 times 1/2 is an easy number, which is 4. And then 4 times 7 is 28. All right, the next very important property is distributive. So if you have a number next to a parentheses or a letter, it means multiplication. And you need to multiply it through if there's any sort of plus or minus in the parentheses. So 3 times 4 plus 8 is the same thing as 3 times 4 plus 3 times 8. We're going to use that property right here. Go ahead and watch while I do this. 103 might be easier done by making it 100 plus 3. And then we know that 15 times 100 is 1500, and 15 times 3 is 45, which gives us our answer of 1545 with work. So now go ahead and try B, making 19 two numbers either added or subtracted. That's easier to do than 19. Hit pause. All right, I would choose 20 minus 1. 6 times 20 is 120. 6 times 1 is 6. And then 120 minus 6 is 114. All right, the terms of an expression are the things that are added or subtracted. Like terms need to be put together. So if you have an equation like this, the 4x and the 3x need to be put together, giving you a 1x. And then you have 1x plus 2. Those are not like terms. That would be your answer. So in the second little problem, coefficient is the number out front. So this is our coefficient, 4 and 3. And since these are not like terms, you can't add them. So you could write it like that, or you could just put x squared plus 3x, because when there's no coefficient, it's assumed to be 1. So go ahead and see if you can combine the like terms in each of these, and then we'll go through the answers. Hit pause. All right, in 3A, these are both p terms, so 16 plus 84 is 100. In B, these are both t terms. I always slash and dash, so my minuses always become plus the opposite sign. So in this case, it's plus a negative. Negative 20 and negative 8.5 is negative 28.5, and then t is our like term. In the last one, m squared and an m cubed do not go together, so that's your answer. All right. We're going to show the step-by-step, and then, I want you to look at each of those steps and see if you can justify what happened with each of the properties. So go ahead and hit pause and see if you can write a property next to each step. So the first thing wouldn't have an answer. There's nothing here. So you're going to have an answer here for what was done, an answer here, an answer here, an answer here, and an answer here. I'm going to go ahead and show the answers now. The first one's the distributive property because the 2's put through. In the second one, it's just multiplying. It's not a property, so that's not really a property. The next one's commutative property because we've flipped these two around to make it easier. And then we're going to associate these two together with the parentheses, and then we're going to combine like terms. These properties you will see on a test. You need to make sure you understand them and know them. Functions. Function notation. Well, actually, I'll just start reading this. The coordinate plane is the graph there with the x and y axis. The origin is the 0, 0. X-axis is horizontal and y-axis is vertical. And then the ordered pair is how far over you go and then how far up you go. And then there's also 4 quadrants. This is quadrant number 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So let's go ahead and look at this graph and see if you can answer all of the questions on this page. Go ahead and hit pause. We'll go over them in just a second. Okay. For P, you should have put negative 2, negative 3. Q, negative 3, 1. R is over 3 up 0. S is over 2 down 4. T is over 0 up 3. U is over 4 up 4. V is back 3 down 3. And W is back 2 up 4. Now the quadrants, T is not in a quadrant, it's on the axis. So none is fine. You could also put on the y-axis. That was on the y. U is in quadrant 1. It has 2 positive ordered pairs. V is in quadrant 3. It's a negative ordered pair and another negative ordered pair, if that makes sense. And this is positive, positive. And then W is in quadrant 2. That's a negative ordered pair and then a positive ordered pair. Quadrant 4 is a positive ordered pair and then a negative ordered pair. Okay, you've got the input, what you put in the output. Function notation, you could also make the y an f of x. This means the same exact thing. The independent variable is the x variable. It's what you're putting in. The dependent variable is the y. All right, an engraver charges a setup fee of $10. So $10 is our constant. Andy's going, or she, is $2 for every single word. So 2x plus 10. I can make that equal to y. I could write f of x is 2x plus 10. I could write f of each word is 2 times each word plus 10. So now it's asking me to figure out all of the answers for 5, 10, 15, and 20. So this is my x, and this is my y, also known as f of x, also known as f of each word. So if I have 5 words, I would do 2 times 5 plus 10. So my answer is 20. 10 words is 2 times 10 plus 10. So my answer is 30. 15 words is 2 times 15 plus 10. So my answer is 40. And 20 words is 2 times 20 plus 10. So my answer is 50. You can see that we're going up by 5 each time in the x, as we're going up by 10 each time in the y. Since the y is increasing at the same rate, we know this is linear. But you always have to make sure that x is going up by the same rate. Also, it's very important. Here's our ordered pair solutions. And our equation can also be written like that. I always put it in the form of y equals mx plus b. Again, m is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. So if you put your x's first, it's going to make your life easier in the long run. All right, last but not least, we have been given an equation. And we're going to plug in -4. So 1/2 times -4 is -2. And -2 minus 4 is -6. Now we're going to plug in -2. 1/2 times -2 is -1. And -1 minus 4 is -5. Plug in a 0. I'm getting this from here. 0 times 1/2 is 0. 0 minus 4 is -4. Plug in 2. 1/2 times 2 is 1. 1 minus 4 is -3. Plug in a 4. 1/2 times 4 is 2. 2 minus 4 is -2. If we go up by 1, then you would need to somehow just show that. Then negative 4, negative 6, I've got to go down a little. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is right here. And then I'm going over 2, up 1, because that's how we get negative 2, 5. This is how far over you go, and this is how far up. I have a difference of 1 in between each of these. So again, over 2, up 1, over 2, up 1, over. And since we have a linear equation, we're going to draw our line. We're going to plug in negative 3 in for the x squared. Negative 3 squared is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 plus 3 is 30. Then plug in a negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. Plug in a 0. 0 times anything is 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. Plug in a 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. And then plug in your 3. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 plus 3 is 30. If we plot this, that's our 0, 3. I'm plotting this first because I'm noticing there's symmetry here. I'm not going to be able to fit the 30 on my graph. So 1 gives us 6 as well as negative 1. And then my 30 is going to be way up there. So this curve is called a quadratic. We will become experts at quadratics later in the year. Anything with an x squared is a quadratic, but it doesn't give you a line. That's a good thing to know. And our last one is an absolute value graph. So if you plug 0 in, 0 minus 2 is negative 2. The absolute value of negative 2 is 2. If you plug 1 in, 1 minus 2 is negative 1. The absolute value of negative 1 is 1. If you plug 2 in, you get 0. 3 gives you 1. 4 gives you 2. So I'm again noticing symmetry here. So I'm going to first plot 2, 0. And then 1 and 3 both give me 1. And 0 gives me 2, as well as 4 giving me 2. So this is an absolute value graph. And it doesn't start here at the origin. It's shifted right to. And we're going to get to this in just a couple days. So this is an absolute value graph. All right. Hopefully you're feeling super smart, and I will see you in the morning.